listening to the Cheerful Sound Man podcast. It's a show for event professionals about the adventures of producing stellar events with a smile. Recently, I asked Eric and John the question, what are some things to avoid doing when working production for a live event? So, before we hear their answers, remember to follow us over on Instagram or Facebook at The Cheerful Sound Man. Okay, here's what not to do when working production at a concert or event.
Oh, there's lots of those.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Fanboying or girling the artist.
That is the most
That
terrible
is
thing.
the automatic way to get removed.
Yeah. Trying to take a picture with the talent or asking for an autograph is the most embarrassing thing our employees can do, which they don't do. But yeah, it's terrible.
But sometimes when you're new, you're like, oh, sweet, I'm working backstage. And maybe I can grab a quick picture. And, sometimes we get to set those things up, but it's kind of a chain of command thing. Like you ask us, and then we talk to the tour manager, hey, a bunch of the crew just really loves the artist. Any chance we can get, quick 2 minutes. Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually a no, but sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we're taking, why don't you just have them come during the meet and greet at the beginning when we're already taking 100 pictures, and so that's a lot of that too. It's not even that the artists are like jerks or anything. It's just like their time is very sensitive and everybody wants a picture with them.
Yeah, so. And when a crew member does say that, it says to them, wow, these guys are rookies, they first time here,
Yeah, well, it's our employee manual has a line, treat the rock stars like everyday people and everyday people like rock stars. So
I actually have that tattoo on me.
That's tattooed?
On my lower back.
On your buttocks?
Yeah, it's on my lower back.
Show me later.
Yeah.
So, just treating them like normal people, but obviously with respect. But, that means also respecting people's privacy and space. You wouldn't just typically walk up to a random person over there and...
Can I have a picture?
Yeah, can I take a picture with you? It's a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
That'd be a big one, so that's a huge no-no. What else? What would you say? Things that bother us about crewmen.
Don't show up wasted to a show or get absolutely hammered at a show. That's just kind of self-explanatory. I mean,
safety breaks, where people go to burn one. That's pretty common in the stagehand world.
It sure is.
Unfortunately.
Other bad things.
I would say stepping in and doing things that you're unsure of without direction. So if we're rigging something, you should not touch the rigging unless you've been, unless you're working with a rigger or one of our qualified folks that are hey, we're wrapping them this way, we're doing this, and then that person obviously checks back after them. But sometimes we'll have people that a lot of times well-intentioned, but they get gung-ho about something and touch some things that have to be highly specialized, safety-wise. Everything else have to be, need to know what's going on. That's kind of a big one. But honestly, it's like any other job in a lot of ways, where showing up early or at minimum on time and being ready to work.
Yeah, being courteous.
Being dressed appropriately.
Courteous to the client and the venue space. Not leaving trash around. We just kind of we don't want to leave any sort of footprint when we leave somewhere. It's disrespectful, and it's a good way to lose a gig off of something little like trash bottle.
Dennis with Next Level Tents there that we met with the other day. They're they provide real high-end tents, and they stopped by and we're doing some business together and that sort of thing. And he had mentioned they have actually gotten a lot of the better work, the higher-end work, strictly because the other tenting companies in their area all leave a mess and tear up the lawn and leave water bottles and cigarette butts. And his company honestly gets a lot of that work just because they're conscientious of those things, and they go, oh, we're on an expensive piece of property, let's treat it as such and clean up after ourselves. And our guys should not be cussing and yelling and taking constant smoke breaks and things like that.
I mean, there's plenty of companies out there with sound equipment, lighting equipment. Sometimes it's those little factors that are the difference between somebody hiring you and not hiring you. Just those little wow factors.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Cheerful Sound Man podcast. We really hope you enjoyed it and maybe even got a little something out of it too. If you did, we'd love if you could subscribe and leave a review on Apple or Spotify podcasts. That would really make our day. Also follow us over on Instagram at The Cheerful Sound Man. Stay tuned for the next episode dropping soon, and until then, don't suck and don't be a jerk.